everyone, today I'll be doing a gouache painting, and gouache is not something that I use often. I prefer watercolors which are a bit more translucent. Gouache is like an opaque watercolor, so you can use it the same way you use watercolors, but it's opaque. What? Also, the watercolors, not watercolors, I'm talking about gouache here. The gouache that I have is the Reeves brand, and I don't know if gouache is supposed to be like chalky, or is it if it's supposed to have a really strong smell, because the gouache that I have it's got a pretty interesting scent and it's not pleasant. So yeah. This drawing that I'm doing, I did it in my sketchbook first, and I'm looking in my sketchbook now, but you can't see that. But I did this sketch of this like elf lady thing with like she was holding a crescent, but I ended up not putting the crescent in the final piece. But it's in my sketchbook, and I also painted the picture in my sketchbook with gouache, and I put the paint directly on paper, and I used the paper as a mixing palette, which was really fun to do. And the picture that I'm doing in video, I painted that on a canvas, which I had never done before, but there are no rules in this realm. But I just wanted to see what would happen if I painted with gouache on canvas. And I didn't go like directly on the canvas with the gouache. I put a layer of white acrylic paint on there first and let that dry. And I came back the next day and then I did this. And I'm glad I did that, because when I was trying to paint the sides with the gouache wouldn't stick to the canvas, but the parts where I did put the acrylic, it did stick. So yeah, it's a good thing that I did that, because I would have been really upset if I had not done that and the paint wouldn't stick, because that would not be good. Like, come on, paint, stick, what you do? I find that whenever I do acrylic paintings, my art style looks a bit different, which I guess it kind of makes sense because it's a different medium, because whenever I use different mediums, my art style changes a little bit. Yeah, and whenever I do acrylic stuff and now gouache stuff, it looks a lot more, it looks like semi-realistic. Well, all of my stuff is kind of semi-realistic, but even more so when I use acrylic and now gouache, I guess so. Yeah, the previous gouache paintings that I have done in my art career, I guess I can call it that, they haven't been that great. It's like, no, they're not good at all. And I like to use line art. I rely heavily on line art when I do coloring, because I like to see where everything is, so I can know where to put the stuff, like the highlights and shadows and such. So working without line art is kind of hard for me sometimes. Yeah. Even in my digital stuff, I use line art, though I've been trying to do like not rely as heavily on the line art as I usually do. So yeah, practice makes perfect. Just gotta keep practicing. Yeah. She looks really, really red in the video, but in person she doesn't look that red. Oh wait, now I remember. She was looking red, but until I added like the pink background, it started looking better. But it is still kind of red. It looks like she's red. That's weird. In my sketchbook, the thingy that it did in the sketchbook, the pencil still shows through on the paper, and I was expecting it to work the same on the canvas as it did on the paper, but it didn't, because on the paper I let the white of the paper show through a little bit, and it's a really, really thin layer of gouache. But on the canvas, I used a lot more paint, and I didn't just let the canvas show through, the white of the canvas show through the paint. Which is something I struggle with my acrylic paintings. Covering the entire canvas and not having those little white speckles all over it. So that's kind of annoying because it makes it look like it's not finished. To me, it does, at least. So yeah. What's your favorite medium? Do you like watercolors, markers, digital, oil, or what are some other? Oh, coloring pencils, regular pencils. What do you like to use? I like to use markers, alcohol-based markers, I should say. Copics in particular. And I like watercolors and digital art. Yeah. My favorite medium. What would that be? I don't know. I like them all for different reasons. Yeah, but I think I don't know which one's my favorite. I guess just regular pencil and paper, because I really like to do loose sketches. Those are really, really fun, because I know some people have trouble filling up their sketchbooks, but that really hasn't been a problem for me, because I like to do loose sketches stuff, and I don't keep loose paper. I used to when I was starting out, but I don't do that anymore. And I guess that would be some advice, like if you have trouble filling up a sketchbook, maybe if you're like one who uses a lot of loose paper but you want to get into sketchbooks, stop getting loose paper. And whenever you draw, instead of reaching for those loose, just grab your sketchbook instead and draw on there. And yeah, that's what I do. And I used to work with a lot of just plain, loose copying paper, and that was all I had. And like I have a binder filled with a bunch of drawings that I did on copying paper. And then I was like, I'm gonna get this there sketchbook, and I did. And I started working in it, and then I stopped working in it, and then it just sat in the corner for a long time. And then I got another one, and that sat in the corner for a long time. And then I stopped using the loose copying papers, and whenever I would draw, I would just get the sketchbooks instead, and I found that that is just like my favorite thing in the world. Just sketchbooks. I love them. I'm thinking about getting some bullet journal paper sketchbook thingies, so I can use that as a sketchbook, because I want to see how that would look to have the little dotted paper with the sketches. It just seems like it would be really fun to work with that. Yeah, but it'd probably be a long time before I get that. Yeah, it's almost finished. Oh, I forgot about it. You might have noticed that it kind of like jumped, like it was half finished, and then all of a sudden her eyes were colored in. That's because my camera stopped recording all of a sudden. Oopsie. And so it just like went from half finished to right into me doing the line art, which I've never done line art on a canvas with the pocket brush pen before, and that was a lot of fun. And I've never used a gel paint on a canvas before either. And I was actually a lot of fun. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and the video is pretty much over now, but yeah, thanks for watching. Please enjoy the rest of your day.